This is Living Left, the raw space where we redefine success, purpose, and identity through honest, unfiltered conversation. We're navigating business, family, change, chaos, one left turn at a time. It's not about finding what's next. It's about owning what's left. Join us and let's go there. Oh, hi, Tanya.
Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you today?
I am great. We're back on this podcast, our little
Yay.
weekly routine,
Look
and
how
I'm
good we're
really
doing.
enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and I, you know what? Even if it's just for us, I enjoy our visit every week.
I do
But
too.
I think slowly we might be getting some people listening, which is great. So hello to anyone who's listening. And we have a new topic, kind of related to some of the past topics, but it's about giving back, volunteer, activism, that kind of piece, but how it relates to midlife time that we now have, wanting to make sure that it's fulfilling, purposeful, community-based time spent. And so if you're listening to this, we're recording it in late November. So it's starting to be close to holiday season, and giving
'Tis the
back is
season.
a topic. So we thought, well, how can we tie this into our life?
Yeah.
And we thought this is a really great opportunity because we're doing a few things with our company where we're giving back. We have been doing some networking in this space, and also we have some personal interests. So I
Yes.
thought we would chit chat about it. So do you want me to kick us off, or
Why
what
don't you? Well, let's first say you are the driver of this, and I love you for it because I think before I met you, I wasn't as disciplined in making sure I made the time. So what I've loved, I think, even when we started the agency, this was like your number one goal, right? One of the key goals is that you could kind of continue in this space because it's near and dear to your heart. So I think you should actually start that off by talking a little bit about that and why, Emery, because I think it gives context as to why we are so intentional about it throughout the year, because that is entirely you.
Oh,
I'm
well,
I'm I
thank
enjoy
you.
doing it, but I love, that this is a big part because it makes it easy for those of us who are not as great at organizing that sort of thing. So I think
So,
it's important that you take some credit and you share maybe some of your whys.
well, okay, sure. Thank you. Well, I don't
You're
know. First of
welcome.
all, I would say I don't think I do nearly as much as many people I'm like that can.
Okay,
So,
so that is what I think is hilarious because I do virtually like other than the short, easy, do you want to top up your purchase, that sort of thing? You think you don't do nearly enough. And I'm here to say you do a lot versus maybe some of us who really don't do nearly enough, Amory. So go ahead.
oh. Okay, well, let's discuss this because
Yes.
I feel that service is important. I think it's really
Yes.
important to give back to communities, and some of those may be charitable places that, that we are not actually receiving the benefit. Like, thank goodness I don't have to receive the benefit of the food bank, but I have volunteered with the food bank, and I was on the food bank, local food bank board for a few years. I've volunteered with a charity called the Gift of Giving Back, which came into my life through my kids' hockey, where it's the largest food drive in Canada. So have coordinated and worked through that organization and given my time. Um, but I do think that a really easy way to give back, which a lot of parents do, is we get really involved in their activities. So whether
Yeah.
it is, the hockey club may be technically a nonprofit, but it's organized to benefit your kids, or being part of the school council is also important, and I've done that, but it's benefiting my kids at the end of the day. But I do find those are really great ways to meet people, like whether it's parent council, whether it is I've done a lot of work with hockey, volleyball, football in various roles like team management, social media coordinator. My husband coaches. Like, there's a lot of that kind of giving back to the community, which I think is really important, and honestly has been a huge, go back a few podcasts. It was a huge part of my social life as well. Like, I think
Yes.
it was contributing in many emotional ways. Like, there's lots of benefits to that kind of contributing.
So talk
Um,
about those for a minute. Like you say, it's important to do that. So
so
why
for
is it
me,
important
that's
to do that? Other than the obvious to give back but talk a little bit about that.
So for those, for me, I guess it
Hmm.
depends on the person. For me, I like to
Yeah.
be engaged in what we're doing as a family. And I think that also demonstrates that, many hands make light work. So your kids see and
Yeah.
that you're contributing and you're part of that community and you get to meet people and be part of the community. And so that to me is just a really great model to show your children. And I personally have feel like I can make a difference in small ways. Um, but that is when I think about giving back, like I don't actually, I lump that in a separate bucket. Like
Okay.
I look at that as a great way to be involved in your community and to meet people and help your kids.
Yeah.
Because if I'm involved in parent council, then probably that sidebar benefits the school and my children. So they're part of that. If I am working with the food bank or United Way or some larger organization that is helping people that are less privileged or raise money for a cancer society or something like that where that's bigger than me,
Hmm.
that doesn't have a direct impact in me and my family currently, and I hope it won't. It may, like it can, like there's a lot of people using that food bank right now in this economy that probably didn't need it a few years ago. So I mean, again, it's like putting good karma and just good things into the world. And I just think it's really important to be part of those things. Now, there's loads of ways to be part of it. So,
Right.
financial contribution. So, when you top up at the cash, that money speaks volumes. So, that is definitely important. And I think that at the bare minimum, everyone should be giving a little bit where they can when that feels comfortable to them, right? But I'm now looking at getting involved in charitable organizations in a different way than I did like 10 years ago when my life was so full and the
Yeah.
only way I could have was around my family. This feels like an opportunity for the next 20 years or more to do more. And that's why you see so many retirees,
100%.
right? So I think it just what I'd love to talk about is ways that find charitable organizations or spaces that are inspire you. Um, and what are the ways that you can
Can
help out
participate.
and how can you also maybe use it as a way to meet new people and fill that time that we were talking about in like I don't know episode 2, 3, 4 like in there.
Yes.
I think that there's just a really nice
Yeah.
space here. that's
Yeah.
that's really so that's where I'm going and I'm thinking that's what we should talk about because through Left Turn, obviously, we have our agency that we sometimes reference, and we
Yep.
have a Leading Left, which is a networking group for professional women. And like tomorrow, we have organized to join in on a United Way event, which is a women's group called Women United through United Way. And we'll be raising money and gifts for teen girls for Christmas. And that's a nice little event. We're bringing 8 guests with us along from Leading Left. To me, that ticks all the boxes
Yeah.
for me because we're doing something fun, we're having a connection with other people,
Yeah.
and we're raising funds and helping.
Yeah.
And it's not hard.
No, it's not hard. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think, again, in particular at this time where, what we've been talking about is in midlife, there are the shift or the left turn that happens is to your point, time. You have more time if your kids are off to uni and you just don't have all those schedules. There might be a gap when we were talking about our last podcast around friendship and the need to fulfill kind of the gap of connection and community and joy and happiness. Like if it was so very much tied to the people who were in your lives for 18 plus years and now that no longer exists, how do you fill that gap? And I like this conversation and or kind of being great friends with you because I will be honest, this wouldn't be a natural place for me to go, oh, I should do that. You talk about it loosely, but I think, we all think about, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to exercise more, or I'm going to do like stuff for me, which is important, right? Like you do need um,
Care, self-care.
care, you do. And in a lot of cases, this is us finding time back to finally take the time to um, feel well and be well. But also, what we know is that the idea of happiness and joy and health and feeling good is by acts of service. And
Yeah,
and that
acts of
is
service 100%.
and I think I think let's talk about that because for me, that is not a natural place I go. I'm grateful that I have you that will pull me in. So I think you think that everyone would be like, yeah, of course, that's awesome. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm here to tell you to represent the most of the rest of the crowd who's like, yeah, that feels a little harder. It feels a little bit more, not uncomfortable, but more like, where do I begin? What do I
Yeah.
do? So I'm here to say, first of all, find a friend who just loves to do that. And that's just the easiest way and just say yes to going. But I think we have to talk about acts of service in it is good for you too, right?
Yeah, it's like giving a gift. Like when you give a gift at Christmas, like it's fun to receive gifts, but when you give a gift and it,
You feel
like
good
you
about
feel
it.
better, you've planned that, you get, so to me, giving your time, like, like I'm in my mind about time, and that time can catapult up into fundraising, support, all those things. But if you just give a little bit of your time to thinking about some of these agencies that
Yeah.
need our help and what does that time look like? So it can be, a repeat volunteer service time, which I have not built into my life. Like that is not like I'm not going every Friday afternoon to help at a particular agency. Like when I'm, down the road,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm not in a regular, but I know when I was on the food bank board, like they have regular shifts of usually retirees who come in and work. You're on the Monday shift or the Tuesday
Yeah.
shift or whatever, and the best of friends are made in those groups.
100%.
I don't know if we're not in that state space. We are still working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the day. Um, but I think that there are regular things like I joined the 100 Women of Burlington Who Care. That's 4 times a year. We come together, we listen to presentations by 3 to 4 nominated charities, and then we vote, and then we pick one charity, and they get $100 times however many people. So it's like $10,000. So that happened last week. That to me is a regular,
Yeah.
reoccurring event. That is a nice thing that I feel like over time I will meet new people. And I went last week and I brought a few friends from Leading Left and from my
Hmm.
friend group. And I know my friend, I picked her up and she said, oh my goodness, she was so excited. She's like, this is what I need. She's in the same life space as me. And she
Yeah.
said, I feel like an adult. Like this is an adult thing we're doing. We're going and we went and listened to the 3 charities, and one was Halton Learning Foundation, one was Alzheimer's Society, and the other was environmental Burlington Green. 3 very different service-based organizations. They give a presentation, and I learned so much in that half an hour of presentations. It's like Dragon's Den for charities. It's 10 minutes.
That's amazing.
And in those presentations, you can be inspired to say, oh, like Burlington Green, great example. Like they clean up the beach around Lake Ontario. They do that for hundreds of people. That's a really easy thing that if you wanted to be part of, you could show up to help clean up the beach once a year, or maybe you clean up a neighborhood park in their name and find out that there's and that's the kind of stuff like my kids have grown up. We live on green space. April, I just give them all gloves in a trash bag and we go clean up behind when they were young. We always did it. But I didn't do it in the name of Burlington Green. I just did it. So now I'm thinking, oh, I didn't realize that they were doing all those things. So that's easy. But if I didn't know about them,
Yeah.
like to your point, maybe people don't know about
They
the
don't. I mean,
organizations.
again, look, your friend in the car, and she was like so excited that she was going with you. I do think we can't underestimate the need for people to be introduced, especially, I'm not talking about the 20-something-year-old who it's inherent in who they are. Like your kids would be great examples, and who kind of naturally look for those because they've been taught to. Kind of look for that sort of things. There is a vast number of individuals who would love and don't know where to start, and giving time for a few minutes seems like doable, but it's like, of all of the charities, where do I start? What do I begin with? So what I love that you're doing as part of Left Turn and Leading Left is organizing events that you're interested in or you're aware of, and inviting people in to just
Go.
see what it's like and go. So, my um to those who are listening, it's say yes to those um as much as you can, because that's just a really nice entry into this world that I just don't think is as or available. Like there's just a lot of us, and I'm going to put myself in that camp, who've talked about it but have never, we're not as disciplined as you are, like at
Well,
all, right?
good. It's funny. I was talking to my friend in the car, and we were saying what's changed over time. Like, I
Sure.
think as a culture in Canadian, like, if you go back to when we were small children, like, it, people were more focused on service groups. So whether it was like through a church or religious association or the Lions Club or those service-based organizations used to fundamentally organize all the good things for our communities,
Yeah.
right? So you were either linked through church or school or through one of these service-based organizations. The world has shifted. Like, who do you know that's part of the Lions Club? Like, old men are part of the
Yeah.
Lions Club. Like, we're not supporting in that way. So there needs to be groups like Leading Left. There needs to be groups like 100 Women Who Care and also we're busier. We're way busier than our parents were at this age and stage.
A hundred
So
percent.
there's
And
so
the
you have to,
internet means there's like we're inundated with the ask of giving in some capacity, right?
yes,
Like it was when it was more focused and centralized. But you're right, you need an aggregator of what is within that community, and there's few who, some are connected, and how do you kind of bring that awareness to other people? I also think the world has shifted, so in everything you said, but while we're way more connected because of the internet and social media and all of that, we're also very focused on our own needs more than ever. I
yes,
think,
we're
the
more
media,
self-centered than we've
we're
ever
more
been. Yeah,
self-centered. It's all about what's in it for me.
yeah,
First of all, we're all so much busier than we used to be. So any amount of time feels like not as easy maybe to give as maybe it once did when life was simpler. But also there's a what's in it for me in all of the things. What am I going to get out of it? Well, imagine if it actually is not, doesn't have anything to do with what you're going to get out of it,
yes, yes.
right?
That should
And
be the point. Yeah,
that should be the point. But I'm just saying, I don't think that's not as obvious. And
yes,
I think as a later in stage, you appreciate that giving back
yeah,
is actually or giving with no
yeah,
transactional requirements
yes,
is actually the
yes,
ticket. And
yeah,
you don't know that obviously at a younger age. That makes sense that that's not as top of mind, because unless you were maybe brought up very specifically in that, it's like, I need to build a family and build my wealth and build, like, it's all about consumerism. You need to, because you need to build this life, and then when you realize none of that actually matters, you're just kids have left, we're in this stage, your mind, I'm saying from someone who was very driven to do things, as we always said, turn right, turn right, turn right, until I was like, what's over to the left over here? Because I've been conditioned to believe that this is the way to happiness. And listen, love my life and grateful for everything. When you actually realize the ticket is has nothing to do with you
Yeah.
and has to do with, you know, giving forward, then
Yes.
everything is so much. So I just don't think it's as obvious. Let's just not assume that that is something that everyone has come to light with.
Okay, so then let's say, here's my suggestion then, is when there are moments and opportunities in your life, and right now, holiday season, it's like rich
100%
with these
perfect.
opportunities,
Yes.
is to take it a next level. So for example, we're having a Christmas party. I don't want anyone to bring any presents. What I want them to do is bring donations for the food bank. There'll be a big
Yeah.
bucket. I'm hoping my whole front porch is full of food. Easy. It's inspiring people to give. When you clean your closets out in January, please do not drop it off at some place that's going to resell it for their benefit. Please drop it off at one of the many, many charities, whether it's Salvation Army or Compassion Society or any of these places that are going to either sell it for a low amount and the proceeds go to help, or give it away to someone who truly
Who
needs
needs
it
it?
for free, like our local would be Compassion Society. Um, when you are doing birthday parties. So for many years, my kids, they would fight me on this, but then it just became what they did. They did not get presents from their
Yeah.
friends. Instead, they got a link and they picked a charity and the percentage went, and I forget now the name of the company that did this, but it was two moms who created this company. It was brilliant. And it would say my child is saving for XYZ. And I think it was like 50% of what you donated went to the child and
Love
50%
that.
went to a donation. So you maybe got your American Girl doll at the end of it versus lots of little things, but you also donated equivalent amount
Love that.
to a charity. So start to put in little components. So we are having a holiday gathering for our team. We are going to United Way Warehouse. We're going to sort and organize the gifts that are going to go out to the families. We're going to work hard for that morning. And I
Yeah.
mean, that has a quantifiable thing for to give our the time of our whole team to go
Mhm.
there. But that's team building, and
Yeah.
that it's introducing them to fantastic ways of for them to give back. And then we'll go have our holiday lunch. But instead of going to do something that's silly and maybe not meaningful, we're gonna go give back there.
Yeah.
We have holiday tradition. I'm rambling now, but I'm like, these are
No,
just
this
things
is
that are
good.
things
I
I
think
do.
people need to hear, well, yes. And again, back to your original statement is you don't think you nearly do enough. I'm telling you, if this was like a spectrum of like those who don't do anything and those who do a lot, like you're on the other side, dude.
I so don't think so because I
I
think
know,
there's
which
so
is
much more I
of
could be
course there
doing.
is, but I'm here to tell you, and listeners, please respond with who you think is right. Is it Tanya? And not because we're not like I'm not saying because we're ungrateful, terrible people. I'm just telling you, in the grand scheme of things I need to accomplish in the day, that will be the bottom of my list. And that's an area of growth for me. Like it is. Like life is full. I'm exhausted. All of those reasons. I will actually choose the gym versus that. So it's like I agree with you. Midlife, we're in a different time. We have more time. You got to just force yourself out of a behavior change. If that is just not the natural way you went, if you agree to that, then it's like, what do I do next? It's overwhelming out there. So list your things, Anne Marie. And I think, for our listeners, the big one is like leading left is the perfect way of, if anything, let us know. We'll put you on that list because that's a huge component of that and where you'll continue to ensure that that group is connected to what's happening and what you're
Yeah.
doing.
And we'll launch it more fully in
Yeah.
2026, but we have something called left turn lending,
Yes.
which is
Let's talk about that.
really what we're going to talk about there is two things will be lending our expertise and our voice to causes, topics. So that might be entrepreneurialism, it might be women-owned businesses,
In
but it
business.
might
Yeah.
also be very charity focused. That is the other big piece. So lending professionally and then lending and raising money
Money.
awareness for charitable causes. So right now we just did United Way. That's tomorrow. That's 100 women who care. That was last week. And actually trying to do more with less. Like
Yes.
how can we lift up some of these organizations? And again, listen, I want to lift up with like we don't have gobs of money to donate, but we have brilliant ideas. We have time. Like we have
Yes.
manpower, woman power. Like we have a
Yes.
lot of woman power. Like
We
there
can
was
get a lot done in a short amount of
yeah, we
time
filled a
as
whole
women.
table last
Slowly.
week And two of those women converted to join, which means they're going to contribute $100 every time they go. We have 9 people going to the United Way tomorrow. Last year, there was an organization, I think it's called Holiday Helpers. I forget anyway, it's you wrap gifts and it's kind of like United Way, but it's just for Christmas. And so I'm doing that in a couple Fridays. And I sent it out to my friends, said, who wants to wrap gifts with me and build the packages? I got a bunch of ladies going because we have our flexible Friday, so I can do
Yep.
that on my flexible Friday. And then the next morning, my husband and I are going to go deliver them, which
Amazing.
I did with my kids last year, and it was crazy impactful when
Yeah.
you are filling up your car and you're like Santa Claus and you go and deliver this to people truly in need. You're going into buildings or areas that you maybe that's not where your friends live. And it's eye-opening. It is very eye-opening. And even when I just said, oh, I don't have a lot of money to donate, in comparison to some people, we have a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes.
We have a
Very
lot.
privileged. Yeah, very
And
privileged.
I think it's particularly this time of year, it's important to remember that we
Yeah.
have a lot and we have safe, warm homes.
Hmm.
We are surrounded by safe, warm people. I mean,
Yeah.
there's shelters you can support. There's just so many ways to I just feel like it's like supersizing what you're already doing. So
Yeah.
you're building traditions with your family, whether that's around the holidays. You're already entertaining. So make it supersize it. Ask them for the food donation. If you're into athletics or like my husband, when he hasn't run a marathon for a while, but when he did
Hmm.
it not just he did the Scotiabank run, but he did it through the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. So he raised, I think, $6,000 or $7,000. My dad was sick with that at the time.
Yeah.
Like instead of, yeah, the running is a massive thing, but you can also do it in
100%.
honor of something bigger than
Yeah,
yourself.
that's great.
So
Yes.
those are just small things that I've not really talked about this. So I didn't really think it was
No.
unique.
Yes.
I did not think this was
I keep
unique.
telling you that it is not unique, but it is a special characteristic and value of yours that I think is in all of us. You know, it's hard to say that, but the actioning of it is I think that's what is not unique, but that is what is fewer and far between. Is there's one thing we all want to do it. I mean, listen, we've worked with charitable organizations. We know this, right? Inherently in humans, you want to do good, but you have to sometimes like pull people through. It's not just easy like give today. Like it is saturated in our everything we hear, but you have to find ways to actually execute it. So that's one of your superpowers. You've just done that. You clearly probably your parents did that with you, like it came from somewhere. It's a beautiful gift. So this podcast is about letting people know that these are the things that left turn, leading left, left turn lending, like these are the things because of you that we want to create broader impact. Great. But we're also here to help kind of guide people to find a
Yeah.
way that they can do that. And I think that's the point
Yeah.
of what we're
And I'd
trying to say.
say if we all just paid a little bit more attention.
Yeah,
So
a hundred
like
percent.
if, oh, you're like my kid's high school is doing a coat drive for,
Mhm.
so okay, great. Pay attention. They're doing it. Actually find something to donate and then take the 5 or 10 minutes it is to look up the organization that's collecting the coats and have a conversation with your kid about it before they just drop off the coat.
Sure. So there's
Like it's
context.
literally just extra 5 or 10 minutes of learning about where that's going. Or
Yeah.
there's a mitten drive or a sock drive. Or, it doesn't mean you need to volunteer every week, in Hamilton at Gage Park and walk around with those unhomed people.
Yeah.
Like that is also a fantastic volunteer opportunity. But you don't have to do that. You can just organize the sock drive
Yeah.
or contribute to the sock drive.
Well, I think the other thing you just mentioned that is like kind of hit home to me because I don't think we had enough of those conversations in our house. is the conversation, right? It's about, I mean, we had a lot of conversations about a lot of things everyone does about what is important to them, but from a charitable stand, because I didn't come from that, um, that wasn't just something even I grew up with 100%. So I don't think there was enough context to have those conversations. But to your point, if you just have that 5 or 10 minute conversation with your kids or those around you, that's just kind of a little light bulb that goes on that that person then can grow in that human, right?
Yes.
It's so to your point, it doesn't even have to go as far as time beyond you just attach it to your school thing. But if you take the 5 to 10 minutes to just sit down and go, do you know what this is about? And this is like, let's do some research together. You light a little fire, and that's grows to be ultimately even more impactful in the world down the road as they grow and they want to do more
Yeah.
things. So I think that's a really good point as well. It can be that easy.
Yeah. And that's a, to build on that, I think another
Mhm.
reason we don't know is that we have these massive umbrella organizations now. Like United Way
Sure.
is a fantastic example of one. They're doing great things, but within the umbrella are many, many, many organizations. Like there's food insecurity, there's, safety, there's poverty, there's like so we donate to United Way. People might not understand that that's going to hundreds and hundreds of organizations. You can even say you want it to go to a certain
Yeah.
area, but they maybe are not learning all the things because we just hear United Way.
Yeah.
And I don't work in the charitable space, so I don't know. There's probably lots of other examples like that.
Yeah.
Um, but taking the time to learn about these people, and that's what I loved about the 100 Women Who Care. Like it is the executive directors or someone from the organization getting up to talk, like the Alzheimer's one. Man, she got up
At
to
home, eh?
talk about, well, and the other thing is, what would they do with $10,000? And
Yeah.
so a fantastic is because they actually, they're literally pitching what the
Yeah.
$10,000. So if you think about Alzheimer's Society, I luckily, knock on wood, have not had someone in my family had to use those. But you would think it's like counseling and support and care and maybe, um, like taking them out of their home, like respite, things like
Hmm.
that, which is totally what it is. But the $10,000 for them was going to go towards actually kind of like toileting products and things like this
Wow.
because they don't remember to go to the washroom.
Wow.
And that's just one more cost for these families to go towards. And you could just sit there and you could see the whole room like that's what it would go for.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not a doesn't feel like a sexy idea, but you realize, oh my God, wait a second. I didn't even think about that's one more thing that those family
It's
and those
important.
caregivers are going through on a daily basis. And that could just be the difference. Like it's dignity. You're bringing dignity.
Yeah.
So $10,000 is a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear what they would actually
That's
bring.
amazing. Love
Anyway,
that.
that was one. So I don't know where we are for time, but
I think we're pretty
I
much
really
pretty
want
can
to
wrap up now.
encourage, yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to encourage people to think about how are the small ways to just supersize what I'm already doing.
Love that.
So if I'm gonna make like this holiday season, I'm looking for new traditions because that's another thing with growing families. Like maybe they don't all want to go visit Santa anymore. Maybe we don't get to do Elf on the Shelf. Like, what
Yeah.
are the new traditions? One of the things that we do is we have a family scavenger hunt with my brother and his family and our family. And we tie in giving back moments into this, like as we zip around the city. And we give the kids a budget and they shop at the grocery store and then we drop it at the food bank and then we will find other things that are going on. Another thing I was thinking as they become older, 18 plus, giving blood, like
Yeah,
that's
that's a
a
great one
big
too.
one. Like that's a big one. And you can check to see if you actually are able to donate blood online before you go in, so it's not embarrassing.
Oh,
In
nice.
case your
Not
big kid has a
embarrassing.
new tattoo. Well, in case your kid has a new
Oh,
tattoo or
oops.
or a disease they haven't told us about. Like you
Or
can't
like
donate.
piercings.
There's some reasons.
That's
But
a great idea.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like that or helping out, like one of my kids is coming home from school and we're going to donate our time and prepare gifts and wrap gifts, or go be a bell ringer at the Salvation Army. Like all those things are available online.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for ways to, and then after the holidays, I think that's actually when it's harder to find.
Well, that's it. And then, continuing that forward, right? Which then comes down to, that's where I will plug, if you can then connect yourself with individuals who kind of have their pulse on it all the time. So like Leading Left is a great example of that,
Yeah.
right? Where you throughout the year will look at organized events and things, and it's through that that just makes it easier for some people who are not as tapped in or used to knowing where to
Yeah.
look. So
Well, and I'm sure
okay, good.
there's service-based organizations out there. Like there's
Sure.
Alliance, like isn't the Junior League, or I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna find
I'm
some
sure you
more.
will. I have no doubt that you will. And I will just wait for
Come
you
along.
to tell us what we're doing. And that works for me too. Love that. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I have other ideas, but I'll
I
hang on.
know. Oh,
I'm
hang
just
on.
asking people to open their
No, so
heart
good.
and find some nice people to be with who are
Yep.
giving of their time and spirit and energy. And hey, if we have some money to give, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, but it doesn't have to be financial.
Yeah. And I think, but to your point is we're now entering an age and stage where it's likely not enough. Like what I think is the big challenge you have is all of this is familiar to us in some capacity, right? Especially if you've had kids or through your office, like we get that. But what we're challenging now is you can no longer use, I don't have enough time.
Yeah,
Like where do you can't. So you now have a bucket of time. So back to everything we've been talking about to date at this age and stage, it's like, what do you do to redefine how you've moved through life,
yeah,
right? To which will help you kind of rediscover who you are and what passions you have. We've talked about all of the things. Friendship was the last one. So now we're challenging you with the idea of acts of service that go beyond even just your little group of people you see all of the time. You're giving
yes,
your time, you're giving yourself, but what you will get back from that is
huge.
this idea of fulfillment and purpose and joy and connection. And so for all of us at this age and stage, it should be very attainable this year.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
if you,
just in little bits and bobs. We don't
yeah,
need to give up full days of the week
no.
to go, although I wouldn't mind down the road. Like, you know what
Well,
I
we'll
don't
have
know.
even more time than we do
Yeah.
now. Like, let's talk about that.
I'd like to go hold newborn babies if that's a thing. I don't know.
Hold what?
Newborn babies, like,
Oh,
like,
I think you can do that. I think that's,
yeah, if there was candy striped volunteer when you were younger,
yeah,
there's
I'm
always, but
sure.
you see retirees in the hospital. That's probably what they do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying
I
there's,
don't know if
yeah,
they hold the babies, but
that's what I wouldn't mind doing.
yeah.
Now that
Well,
I
there
have
you go.
nobody to hold.
I want a little human to hold. I get
Yeah,
that.
or like if you're really into animals, the
Well,
animal shelter,
100%.
like the Humane
Yes.
Society, like, or you want to help new Canadians, like there's a
Fostering.
whole,
Yep.
or fostering
Yep. Yep.
people, or
Or I
like
was more saying animals.
dogs,
I don't know if I'll foster a human at this but age and stage,
you
but
know,
maybe.
yeah, or support people that are new to the country that need,
Yes.
like, just need
Sponsor a
support and
family.
there's so many
There's so
ways.
much. Yes. There is. I think again, so the purpose of this is to highlight that with time and the need to reinvent yourself and seek new purpose and change, kind of take a left turn in your life, the idea of giving just can be far more meaningful than maybe you thought about before. Oh, see, and now I've totally missed my second point. This is the perimenopause in me. Shoot,
I
I
was
had a
gonna
really
say,
good
well,
idea.
I'll
What
build
was
on
the
it and
second
just say
one? Please.
start where you are. So
Okay, sure.
you still have a
That
kid at
wasn't my point,
home.
but that's okay.
Yeah, you still have someone at home who is on a team and they're needing some support on that hockey team, volleyball team, whatever. Step up and be that person
Hmm.
and contribute on the team, or contribute at the school, or contribute in your neighborhood. Step up where you are and then see where it goes.
Yes.
And if you don't have anything like that happening right now, step up at work or come up
Yep.
with ideas. Or find somebody or
That's what I
just
think
send
too,
us a
friends.
message. Just
Just
friend
come
Tanya and
join
I.
us. Join us.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new people.
Yeah.
Okay, good combo. I'm glad we gave you a bit of an opportunity to share. I know this is an important part for you. And
Uh,
kind of you do a lot of work in this area.
I
So,
still don't think what I'm doing enough. I'm
well,
certain
that's
that there
okay.
are
I'm
people
glad
that
you
are
don't
giving
think,
way more than I
sure,
am.
sure. But within, your reasonable life, you give more than a lot of us do. So thank you for that. And I look
Uh,
forward to tomorrow.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah, it'll be
go.
good.
Yeah, we'll post about it.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks
See ya.
everyone. Okay, chat later.
Bye.
Bye. If you felt this one, share it because what's left isn't less, it's everything.
Is that it? I just, we gotta do it again. I'm like, why are you staring at